This is Dabu7. I hope folks pay attention to this one. Oregon Standoff was a situation that we picked apart bit by bit the whole time that it was going down. There was a lot of things that happened during the Oregon Standoff that raised a lot of red flags, especially when we had handfuls of individuals that were showing up out here that just got in trouble that should have been facing felony charges. And all these individuals were claiming that they were former military, and it had checked out. They were not. They were lying through their teeth, and something was not right with the whole thing, and a lot of people felt it. And it seemed like a honeypot, a trap to draw true patriots in, to lure them in, and to get them in trouble. The whole time, we were warning this thing is filled with informants. Something's not right. These people are lying about their backgrounds, the whole nine. And it sucked because some people out here in the YouTube community that went up there, including Pete Santilli, that was supposed to be out there as a journalist, he was one that got caught in Ohio with weapons charges with a gun, felony charges that just disappeared as he showed up at Oregon. The same thing happened with another individual, the one that was threatening all the mosques. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head at the moment. He had the shaved head. He was on his way to a mosque that he was threatening on Facebook. The FBI intercepted him. He shows up at the refuge, of all places. And then you had Blaine Cooper, which wasn't even his real name, and all these cats, and Bubba, that were all claiming to be former military and things they were not. So when we seen this, we were trying to get a beat on exactly who was who. Well, now we know that there was at least 9 different informants inside of the standoff. And not only was there 9, the guy you're looking at right here, this is John Kilman, a man that doesn't exist. This is the John Kilman during the whole Oregon standoff that was running around, supplying food, training these individuals in weapons, firearms training. And he was an FBI informant. He was just one of many that were there. Some were there just a couple hours, others were there the whole time. And what they're explaining now in court, because all this is coming out because they couldn't get the charges to stick to Ammon Bundy and them the first trial because they were trying to prove that they were impeding the employees from being able to come in there and do their job. And throughout the loopholes and the things that they screwed up doing in the process, the lawyers were able to get them out of it. Some of the guys screwed up and went ahead and took a guilty plea. I think like O'Shaughnessy, Ryan Payne, they took a guilty plea. The others stood the trial. It got dismissed. They still have to face the Nevada charges at the Bundy Ranch, you see, there. But there's still 4 left up here that they're trying to charge with this whole standoff and trying to make these charges stick in the second go around. So in the second go around, the defense is trying to say, you had FBI informants in here staging this whole thing. You had them training, telling people what to do, watching over everything, being the security, the whole 9. They just admitted this in court. And of course, you're not going to catch this on the mainstream evening news, but this is how they operate, folks. I'm here to tell you. We knew it from Jump Street. For all those that didn't want to believe it, this is the proof coming out months and months and months later that this thing was filled and littered with snitches. And we need to dig deeper, and I'm going to, because the man's name is Fabio here, that was John Kilman, this FBI informant. And the FBI admitted in this that they allowed them to conduct criminal activities. I want you to keep this in mind. They allowed them to do illegal things And they said primarily to maintain credibility, and that they would rather have their informants on guard duty than anyone else. So this whole thing, when they were up there talking about John and Joe, and Pete was running around with all of them, and you're supposed to have all these 3%ers that checked out to be, had informants with them too. The whole thing reeked. Not to mention the guy that was in the vehicle behind all of them that said that he was going to drive the truck. He was a snitch too. That drove them in there. That's when, we had an individual actually get shot and killed during that whole thing in R.I.P. Lavoie. He was surrounded by snitches and feds the whole time. They basically walked him up to his deathbed in this. Had a snitch driving a truck behind him. Had him all over. So you keep that in mind, America, on how they operate, what these alphabet gangs do. They will infiltrate. They will do whatever to try to maintain credibility just to get away in. And there's always more to it. As I continue to find more, I will let you guys know. Writing's on the wall here with this one. Feds all over it, snitches all over it, inside and out. They were letting them do illegal acts, training people in weapons, the whole nine. Now you know. So when 2.0 rolls around, those out there that are in it, you're prepared. You have the eyes to see. This is Dabu 7. And what I mean by 2.0 is when real things pop off in this country. If anybody cares.